Zippity-doo-dah, zippity-day. My, oh my, it's a wonderful day. Happy Monday. It's the 12th day of August, 2019. We're back at it for another exciting week of television entertainment and television information and television. It is Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Thanks for starting your week with us here on the NCW Live channel after a pretty wild weekend, at least from Mother Nature's perspective. It was a pretty crazy Saturday. Around here, our lead news story will be the rather intense flooding that affected the south end of the Wenatchee Valley, left 3 homes uninhabitable, if you will. We'll talk about that. We got some footage and some photos to show you when we get to news. Got a lot of news to get to, a lot of sports to get to. Apple Sox regular season is over. It's off to the playoffs now. It's down to the Final Four. You got Victoria and Wenatchee in the north. You got Walla Walla and Corvallis to do battle in the south. The winners of those 2 series will move on for the West Coast League Championship. We'll preview that when we get to sports. We also have everything else that you're used to, including the obscure holiday. Very interesting today in history. Kind of a smorgasbord of stuff happened on this date. Plus a birthday, one celebrity birthday. Everybody's entitled to Mike McNally's opinion. And in the back half of the hour, in a conversation we recorded on Friday, Dr. Sue Kane and Andy Boyd dropped by from the North Central Educational Services District. The 3rd annual STEM Summit, Science, Technology, Engineering, and Math, is this week. It's Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at the Wenatchee Convention Center with educators, hundreds of educators from all over North Central Washington who specialize in science, technology, engineering, and math will be gathering to hone their skills, learn the latest, and making our kids smarter than ever in the world of STEM. That conversation you don't want to miss with Sue and Andy comes up in the back half of the hour. And a good-looking week heading our way. Things are looking really nice. It's going to be dry and warm, but not too hot. We're done with the rain. We set a record, by the way. I got a couple of notes here. Friday, 0.22 inches of rain was a new record. And this is Friday, not Saturday I'm talking about. 0.22 inches of rain on Friday, which broke the old record, which was just 0.7 or 0.07 of an inch. That was back in 1982. Now, you would think Saturday, with all the rain that we had, we would have broken a record there, but we actually didn't. But we almost did. Keep in mind that these records are kept at Pangbourne Memorial Airport, and when you have isolated thunderstorms, some places can get significant heavy rain, and other places, no rain at all. That's just the nature of the beast. On Saturday, 0.2 inches of rain. The record was 0.29 inches of rain, so we almost broke the record, but for the people on the south end of town and a couple of canyons and hollers, it was enough rain for them. Thank you very much. Forecast details are coming up 3 minutes after they are. Let's begin where we always begin. Let's go around the Wenatchee Valley, North Central Washington with our Valley View cameras, and we say good morning to the Wenatchee Valley proper with our cross camera pulled back quite a bit. Probably pulled back about as far as it can. It is a beautiful morning. We needed the rain, by the way. August is usually not a particularly rainy month around here, but boy, we got deluged pretty good on Friday and Saturday, and that's, of course, tampers down any kind of wildfire efforts. It also helped the big fire up in the Colville Indian reservations. The Williams Flats fire got a little bit smaller over the weekend because of the rain. Good morning to the beautiful Wenatchee Valley. Look how the Columbia River looks exceptionally blue this morning. That might be the angle of the sun. For all I know, the sun, 5:53 was sunrise this morning, sunset 8:18. That gives us 14 hours and 25 minutes of daylight. We're losing a couple of minutes of daylight every day. All right, that's our beginning camera. For now on, Megan gets to decide where we go, and we're going to visit the Waterville camera. Is that correct? Megan, thank you very much. We're going to touch base, by the way, with the Ludeman family. Their homestead up in Waterville got hammered pretty good. We'll mention their GoFundMe account when we get to the news. That's a beautiful view of the Waterville area. You can see Andy at, of course, to the right in the Wenatchee Valley, way down there on one of our highest cameras, about 4,500 feet above sea level. Not a cloud in the sky there. Camera number 3. We are off to monitor. That's the Appalachians camera, but you moved it on me, Megan. You pulled a fast one on me. Oh, hey, that reminds me. Speaking of the Kashmir area, the West Kashmir Bridge, the Goodwin Road Bridge, that's what most people call it, the place where your rearview mirrors go to die. They're going to be at one lane this morning with flag control traffic. They're going to make minor repairs on the Goodwin Bridge leading into Kashmir, the Goodwin Bridge. So they're asking you, Chelan County Public Works is asking you to avoid the area altogether because they're going to be dealing with some traffic delays. They think it'll go till about noon today. So if you usually take the Goodwin Bridge, the West Kashmir Bridge, you best not do that this morning. So heads up on that. Camera number 4. We are off to see the Wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz. That's Quincy, I believe. That's the Monument Hill camera. Again, moved a little bit. I don't mind when Megan moves them. It makes me have to guess a little bit harder. Good morning, Quincy. A couple of high clouds there, and that's about it. Megan just burped into my earpiece. I don't know how much rain the Columbia Basin got. I think most of it was really limited to the Wenatchee Valley. But that's a beautiful view, isn't it? Just gorgeous. Love our friends out there in the Columbia Basin. And by the way, we got some new cameras that are on their way that we're going to be able to show you out of the Columbia Basin. 2 or 3 new cameras out there in Ephrata and Moses Lake. Looking forward to showing you those views as we get deeper and deeper into summer and autumn starts knocking on our door. Heck, school starts in just a couple of weeks. Where's the summer going? 6 minutes after the hour from the National Weather Service, a very benign weather forecast looks something like that. No rain, lots of sun, no real problems at all. Temperatures a little bit below normal today. We're supposed to get about 85. I don't know if we're going to get to 85. Maybe be 82, 83, right around there. We're 59 degrees right now. And I remember last week, we had overnight lows in the 70s. Now we're in the 50s. So I don't know if we're going to climb up to 85, but anything beats what we had over the weekend. Sunday's high, by the way, was 80, well below normal. Saturday's, of course, as I mentioned before, we almost broke a record of rainfall. Friday, we did break a record on rainfall. But look at that. Nothing, no real problems at all. A couple of passing clouds on Tuesday or Thursday and lasting into the weekend. A weak storm system is going to come through, not really going to affect us. Temperature's going to hover right around normal to slightly below normal. So all in all, that's a forecast I can live with. Great golfing weather. You can golf in the afternoon and not have to worry about getting too hot and sweating all over yourself. There you go. Nice looking forecast from our friends at the National Weather Service. I can live with that. 7 minutes after the hour, we're going to take a quick 1-minute break. What happened over the weekend? A lot. The news is 1 minute away. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Live this morning from Studio 15 in downtown Wenatchee on the NCW Life channel.
Hi, I'm Jim Heinlein, agent here at Senior Insurance Services of North Central Washington, where we like to teach our customers how to shop and compare from all the Medicare options. Now, a lot of folks will come in and tell me, Jim, I'm so confused about all these choices. In fact, there's 21 reasons you can join a Medicare plan. But we want to focus on the specific plan that's right for you. So if that's what you need, give us a call at Senior Insurance, 888-2600, or visit one of our 5 locations.
I told Miss Nielsen about Simon. He's the best doctor because I like the medicines like he gives me.
He asks like more questions, and that's why I feel like he's more interested in the health. For me, it means a lot. That means he really cares about, about him.
I like you, Simon, and you're my best friend.
Welcome back to this Monday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. I am Dan Kuntz. It is 8 minutes after the hour. We have lots of sunshine, a very pleasant 59 degrees. Sunshine all this week, just a couple of passing clouds, highs in the mid-80s. Here's what's making the headlines. And of course, our lead story is the thunderstorm that came roaring through not only the Wenatchee Valley, but north central Washington on a Saturday afternoon, dumping heavy rain. And that led to mudslides and some evacuations in South Wenatchee. That footage is up there, number 1 Canyon. Look at the rain come down. Flash flooding and mudslides did some rather severe damage to at least 3 homes on Boudry Street in Wenatchee. Chelan County Emergency Management Director Kent Sisson says the extremely heavy rain caused mud and debris flows in the Squilchuck Canyon area, also Pitcher Canyon and Halverson Canyon. A culvert which diverts water under the lower Squilchuck Road began eroding the downslope hillside located just above Boudry Street, south of the Wenatchee city limits. Now, the force of the water began creating a deep channel that forced a massive amount of rock and mud down the hillside and into a development of single-wide mobile homes. Deputies and Wenatchee police officers responded and began evacuating the development. A river of mud, rock, and other debris impacted the north side of 3 mobile homes, nearly to the roof lines. Children carried out of one home by deputies and Wenatchee police officers. 3 of the mobile homes are now deemed uninhabitable. The damage on Boudry Street is not far from where a late June rainstorm created a sinkhole that is yet to be repaired on South Wenatchee Avenue. In addition to all that, Highway 2 east of Waterville was shut down for about a half an hour after being completely blocked by mud and debris. A thunderstorm also delayed the start of the concert Saturday night at the Gorge Amphitheater for about an hour. We'll have more on this with the news tonight at 5 o'clock. An East Wenatchee police officer was charged with theft after allegedly trying to steal a woman's wallet at Mill Bay Casino in Manson back on July 26th. Officer Josh Vernig was cited after Chelan County Sheriff's deputies positively identified him on a video trying to steal the woman's wallet before exiting the casino. According to a report by Sergeant Adam Musgrove of the Chelan County Sheriff's Office, a woman and her mother reported that Vernig took her wallet out of her purse while she wasn't looking. The incident started when Musgrove responded to a trespassing call to the casino where a male was refusing to leave. That man, Joey Johansson, had to be forcibly removed from the casino by Musgrove. Casino security then told Musgrove that another man who was with Johansson had attempted to steal a wallet earlier in the night, and they showed him and fellow deputies surveillance footage of the attempted theft. Musgrove wrote after viewing surveillance videos that the woman and her mother spotted the theft and grabbed the wallet from Vernig before he made his way out of the casino, and they called security. After seeing the video, Musgrove located Vernig in his RV at Don Morris Park in Chelan, where Vernig reportedly, quote, had strong smells of intoxication coming from his breath, end quote. Vernig did not deny taking the wallet, claimed the victim was in Johansson's group, and that he took the wallet as a way of, quote, playing around. Musgrove then told Vernig that Johansson claimed to have not known the victim. He then cited him. Prosecutors have filed a motion asking that the charge against Vernig be dismissed only because they are exploring additional charges. This is according to Chelan County Prosecutor Doug Shea. Vernig is due to appear in Chelan County District Court on Wednesday. New home sale active listings, the Wenatchee market in July up sharply, as a matter of fact. The latest report from Pacific Appraisal Associates shows 107 homes were sold in July. That's a 24% increase in sales compared to July of last year, when 86 homes were sold. Active home listings in July compared to June of this year was up 23% and up 3% compared to July 2018. Year-to-date building permits were also up compared to last year. There were 174 single-family permits in July compared to 153 in July of last year. Permits for apartment complexes also up. 204 issued this past July compared to 144 in 2018. Once again, the median sales price for a home in the Wenatchee market was up compared to last year. The price in July of this year, $343,000 compared to $325,000 in July of last year. The Wenatchee real estate market, by the way, consists of Wenatchee, East Wenatchee, Malaga, Orondo, and Rock Island. Well, a new roundabout slated to be built in East Wenatchee next year due to reduce congestion at the intersection of 3rd Street and Highline Drive. That's the part of town that's had a lot of increase in traffic because of residential and commercial development. Costco is there, car dealerships located at that intersection. The city and RH2 Engineering will host an August 28th open house to provide more information. The project will include new sidewalk and pedestrian upgrades, with construction expected to start next spring. Finally, rather dramatic photo to show you again. We're referring to this on what happened on Saturday night. That's the homestead of the Ludeman family. They live in Waterville on Highway 2. About 4 feet of water surrounded the house, the barn, and the buildings. They do not have flood insurance. When you live in Waterville, flood insurance doesn't seem like it's necessary, but it could be a total loss for the Ludeman family. So there is a GoFundMe page that has been set up to help the Ludeman family out, and we will have a link to that and more information a little bit later on. But that's the home of the Ludeman family in Waterville on Saturday night. That's a lot of water that did a lot of damage to their home. So it's making news on this Monday. It was a busy weekend for the news crew. We're going to have the news for you tonight at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock with Grant Olson in the anchor chair, 5, 6, and 10. Check out the news with Grant. He also handles the weather forecast, does a pretty good job at it as well. Eric Granstrom handles sports, the news at 5, 6, and 10. You can also watch it on demand by going to our website at ncwlife.com, ncwlife.com, and you can use our website as a way for you to get a hold of us. We have a Contact Us icon at the top upper right-hand corner of the page. Just click on it, fill out the form, push send, and we'll get it. You can also email us, news@ncwlife.com. We're talking baseball when we get to sports. Mariners, well, they're the Mariners, but the Apple Sox have more baseball to play. And this time of the year, that's a good thing. Sports is 1 minute away. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
After 21 years at the Lake Chelan Mailboxes store, Jerry and Sherry are ready to retire. Sherry would like to thank everyone and give some lucky person a business opportunity. That's right, you could own a great small business in Lake Chelan with a proven track record. This includes FedEx, UPS, and USPS services, making it a unique offer. For information on buying Chelan mailboxes, call Jerry or Sherry, and while you're there, wish them well.
Break out the shorts and sunglasses. Summer is here. So, moms and dads, what have you planned for the kids this summer? Registration is now open to sign up online using our new RAC app or by calling the club. Our team of professionals have multi-sport camps, swim and tennis lessons, swim team, and much more packed into our summer schedule. I'm Emma, RAC membership coordinator, and we've got you covered with our full lineup of family fun. Special summer memberships are on sale now. More details at wrac.org or call 662-3544. The RAC, where we play every day.
We're back at 16 minutes after the hour on this Monday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Let's take a look at sports. Cole Wilkinson and two relievers combined on a 4-hit shutout of the Apple Sox on Sunday as Corvallis defeated the Apple Sox. The final was 3-0. With your wrap-up from down in beautiful Corvallis, Oregon, the voice of the Apple Sox, Joel Norman.
For the second time in 3 days, the Wenatchee Apple Sox were shut out, and as a result are swept by the Corvallis Knights with a 3-0 loss at Goss Stadium on Sunday afternoon. Now the Apple Sox turn their focus ahead to the postseason as they will host the Victoria Harbor Cats at 6:35 on Tuesday night at Paul Thomas Senior Stadium. With your Apple Sox update, I'm Joel Norman.
Thank you, Joel. Wenatchee heads into the postseason on a 4-game losing streak after being swept by the Knights over the weekend. They lost the finale at home last Thursday to Ridgefield, although Coach Kyle Crustangel was trying to get as many players possible, enough innings as possible, so they qualify and they're eligible for the postseason roster. Victoria won the first half of the North Division, finished the second half, finished the season, I should say, with a 39-15 record. Wenatchee placed third in the first half and second in the second half, 29-25 overall during the regular season. The Harbor Cats won 5 of 6, by the way, but the Apple Sox this season by an average score of 10-6. Now, the last time Wenatchee was in the playoffs was back in 2013. The Apple Sox swept Walla Walla in 2 games, but then they were swept themselves in the championship series by Corvallis. 2012 was the last time the Sox actually won the title. They needed 3 games to beat Bellingham in the divisional round, as well as 3 games to beat Corvallis. In the final of the divisional playoffs begin tomorrow night with the Apple Sox hosting Victoria Harbor Cats at 6:35 at Paul Thomas Senior Stadium. Let's take a look at the Les Schwab scoreboard for the rest of the West Coast League on the final day of the season. Zach Swanson and 3 relievers combined on a 4-hit shutout of Port Angeles. Victoria won 6-0. Eddie Pelk's 3-run home run gave Yakima Valley a walk-off 15-inning marathon victory with Walla Walla, the final 6-3. Ridgefield built a 4-run lead early behind home runs from Dusty Garcia and Grayson Sterling, hung on to beat Bend 4-3. Thomas Rudinsky 2 for 4 with a home run to lead Portland past Cowlitz 6-1, and Bellingham Kelowna rained out at Elk Stadium. So the final standings in the second half of the North Division look something like this. Victoria wins it at 21-6. Wenatchee second, 4 games back at 17-10. Port Angeles third, and on down the line. The Harbor Cats had the second best overall record in the West Coast League this summer, 39-13. Wenatchee had the third best record to place second in the North overall standings at 29-25. Bellingham third, Port Angeles fourth. Corvallis won the first and second half of the South Division, 21-6 in the second half. Portland finished second and Ridgefield third. Now, due to Walla Walla's overall record being second best in the South, the Sweets get into the playoffs with a 30-23 record. In their inaugural season, Ridgefield finished third at 27-27. By the way, Corvallis' 42-12 record, best ever in the 10-year history of the West Coast League. Eric Sogard had a solo home run. Unfortunately, he plays for the Tampa Bay Rays. It happened in the 5th inning, and Tampa Bay nips the Mariners yesterday afternoon. The final was 1-0. Ryan Yarborough, brilliant on the mound for the Rays. He went 8 2/3. He allowed no runs, just 3 hits. Struck out 8. Wade LeBlanc took the loss for Seattle. He pitched well, 6 innings. He allowed just 1 run, 5 hits, and 3 strikeouts. Thank goodness they get to play Detroit. The M's travel today, and then they got Detroit in the Motor City tomorrow. UC Kikuchi will take on Matthew Boyd. To the American League West scoreboard from Sunday, Rio Ruiz had a 2-run home run, and that gave Baltimore a walk-off 8-7 win over Houston Sunday. That was an upset. The Orioles gave up 3 runs to the Astros in the top of the 9th to set up the comeback. Anthony Ben Boom's RBI base hit in the top of the 10th gave the Angels a victory, 5-4 at Boston. Chris Bassett and 3 relievers combined in a 5-hit shutout for Oakland in the A's 2-0 win in Chicago against the White Sox. Mac Olson providing the offense with a 2-run home run. And Mike Minor went 8 innings, a 4-hit shutout ball. Texas blanks Milwaukee 1-0. All that rain on Saturday night and Saturday afternoon meant no racing at the WVSO. They were rained out, but they do have racing coming up this Saturday, and the weather looks fine. They're going to have Bump to Pass, Roadrunners, the WMRA Midgets, and my very favorite, Bump to Pass, Boat Destruction. That you got to see. And finally, let's talk Seahawks. They resume camp after their victory last Thursday night over the Denver Broncos, the 22-14 win. Coach Pete Carroll says Seahawks have a lot of things to clean up before they travel to Minnesota over the weekend.
Yeah, we had a bunch of penalties. Yeah, that stood out, I thought they were legit. We had sloppy hands and grabbing too much and special teams. And we were terrific at penalties, a few penalties in special teams last year, and we just started off terribly there. So that was one thing. The other thing, the most positive thing was just the general effort. The effort was really, really good. We really ran hard and fast in the way that we want to see a team play, and particularly setting the first impression in motion. I thought they did that. And like we said, running and hitting was what was at hand, and we did that. So a lot of stuff to clean up, and a lot of guys played, and a lot of guys got good play time, quality play time, where it wasn't just getting in there for a couple of series, where they're out there and you could really get a feel for guys, which is important.
Seahawks had over 130 yards in penalties against the Broncos. Also, that ankle injury that George Fant has, according to Pete Carroll, is significant. It's going to take some time to heal. Backup quarterback Geno Smith, by the way, also had a procedure to move a cyst from his knee, but he was back out on the practice field yesterday. The Seahawks will take on Minnesota in Minnesota on Sunday afternoon. It will be nationally televised, by the way, by Fox. And those are just some of the games that people are playing on this Monday. It's 23 minutes after the hour. It's the 12th day of August, and the obscure holiday of the day today, it's Middle Child Day, a day to recognize the middle children and acknowledge their place in the families. It was Alfred Alder, an Austrian psychiatrist. How come all the psychiatrists are Austrian? You notice that? Anyway, it was Alfred who was the first one to suggest that birth order has an effect on your overall personality. A lot of people think that the birth order affects one's personality. The middle child normally is always associated as the second of 3 kids. Normally they don't associate like the 5th of 9 or something like that. That's not really a middle child syndrome. But middle children can sometimes feel somewhat excluded from the families. Studies shown that families with multiple children, the oldest and the youngest, get all the attention, and all the kids left in between are the ones who have to fend for themselves. I grew up in a very large family. It isn't true. Of course, I grew up in a very large family, so maybe I'm not real sure. But being a middle child isn't so bad, by the way. Researchers have shown that being left alone to your own devices can actually be a positive thing. In fact, a lot of judges, arbiters, things like that, a lot of those are middle children. Does your birth order affect your personality? Well, if you're a middle child, I don't know, think about it. Today is Middle Child Day, always celebrated on August 12th because it said so on the internet. Let's move forward at 24 minutes after the hour. Today in history. We're all over the board today. 527 years ago, August 12, 1492, Christopher Columbus arrived in the Canary Islands on his very first voyage to the New World. They basically replenished their supplies and moved on. Of course, they also brought various endemic diseases that the natives had no acquired immunity to fight off. That was probably not a good thing, so I'm told. But Columbus made it at least across the Atlantic on this date. He hung around for a while, went back to Spain, came back. He visited the Canary Islands on this date 527 years ago. If he was smart, he just would have stayed. He said, hey man, beaches, palm trees, pina coladas. Oh well, he had other things to do. Happy birthday, 38 years ago today, August 12, 1981, IBM introduced the personal computer. The IBM personal computer was released on this date. How much did it cost back in 1981 to buy one of those babies? $1,585. Yeah, $1,585 for that computer, which is now a boat anchor. That's the equivalent of $4,313 in today's money. Would you pay $4,313 for one of those today? Probably not. But I saw one on eBay that was still in this original box, and they were trying to sell it for about $2,000. Doesn't work, but still. The IBM personal computer was released on this date, August 12, 1981. There are baseball fights, and then there are baseball fights. This was a really, really bad one. That's the strike. We'll get to that in a minute. 35 years ago today, it was a hot, steamy day in Atlanta. The Braves and the Padres didn't much care for one another. On the very first pitch of the game, the pitcher for the Atlanta Braves, Pascual Perez, beamed Alan Wiggins right in the back, and that set the tone. Of course, this is the National League, which means that the pitcher has to hit. When Pascual Perez came up to bat, the Padres tried to hit him. They didn't. They missed him, but they got warned. Second time up, they tried to hit him. They missed him. Manager got tossed, pitcher got tossed. Third time up for Pascual Perez. They tried to hit him. They missed him. And a fight broke out. And finally, in the bottom of the 8th inning, Pascual Perez, still pitching for the Atlanta Braves, came up to bat in the bottom of the 8th inning, and the Padres finally did what they wanted to do. They hit Pascual Perez, and all hell broke loose. Take a look.
Virgil. So now Jack Kroll runs the club, and Lefferts delivers inside, and I think he's going to be gone too. Here come the Braves. They are going after Lefferts. For the 4th straight time, Perez coming to the plate, and we've got one going now. And there are some hot-tempered individuals out there. Pascual Perez not involved there. Well, I tell you what, this is about as good a little battle as you're going to see. We've got about 5 separate fights going on out in the field. Pascual Perez is not out there. He's gone back to the Atlanta dugout. Champ Summers went after Pascual Perez. While all the other players congregated out in the middle of the infield, Summers headed directly for the Braves dugout. He was held back by somebody. Here he goes. Summers charging after Perez. Bob Horner has come out. We've got some fans involved now. Oh, my. Oh, my. This one is very close to getting totally out of control. A couple of fans have come down onto the field. Other fans were involved throwing things. There's still one fan down there in the middle of all that.
It looks like Rick Camp is trying to protect the Padre down there now. In a way, it's good a fan got involved because that'll turn all the players. It's like a family feud. Turn all the players against the fan.
Okay, we've got one fan that's been grabbed by a couple of security guards. There we go again. Now Gerald Perry and Tim Flannery getting into it. Or is that Bavacqua? Flannery's been pulled out of that rhubarb, but we've had about 6 or 7 separate fights break out here. Security guards down in the field have a couple of fans in handcuffs, leading them off the field. Flannery's been pulled back by Joe Pignatano. It's not so funny anymore.
No, it wasn't very funny, was it? Umpire John McSherry called it the worst baseball fight he had ever been involved in or seen. There were actually 3 bench-clearing brawls that day. That was the second. They brawled again in the 9th inning. When it was all said and done, 5 fans arrested, 19 players and coaches ejected. The worst baseball fight of them all happened on this day 35 years ago today. 34 years ago today, August 12th, 1985, the worst single airplane disaster ever. from the NBC News archives.
The wreckage of a jumbo jet can be seen scattered across the mountains. A specially configured 747 loaded with more than 500 people at the peak of one of Japan's most popular travel holidays.
50 bodies have been recovered, and it now seems fairly certain that only 4 people survived the crash. They were in the rear of the plane. They are a 35-year-old mother and her 8-year-old daughter, a 26-year-old stewardess flying as a passenger, and a 12-year-old girl. The current theory is that the right rear door on the plane came off, hit the tail section, and threw the 747 out of control. The pilot turned the crippled plane to the right toward Yokota Air Force Base. He had been given permission to make an emergency landing there, but after flying an erratic path, the plane crashed into the mountainside. Most of the search and rescue effort has stopped for the night. There is now only the faintest hope that any more survivors will be found.
520 people lost their lives, the worst single plane air disaster of all time, in a day I won't forget. Happened 25 years ago today. Major League Baseball players went on strike, which eventually led, well, to no baseball, no October baseball. Once again, from the NBC News archives.
Here is Bob Costas.
And the other shoe has finally dropped in the ongoing baseball wars. The acting commissioner, Bud Selig, the owner of the Milwaukee Brewers, has just made it official. The remainder of the regular season and the entire postseason, playoffs, and World Series have officially been canceled. This news will...
No playoff baseball that year. For a baseball fan like me, that sucked. Let's do one celebrity birthday, shall we, as we transition to that. George Hamilton celebrates a birthday today. The perpetually tan, handsome and debonair George Hamilton. He's 80 years old today. Happy birthday, George Hamilton. I always liked him. I don't know. I'm channel flipping. There's an old Columbo rerun on or something. I'll check out George Hamilton. Terribly underrated as an actor, in my book. We're going to take a break. When we come back, everybody is entitled to Matt McNally's opinion. The topic today, grandchildren. And then a conversation we taped last Friday with Andy Boyd and Sue Kane from the North Central Educational Services District. The STEM Summit begins tomorrow at the Wenatchee Convention Center. It's a big deal. Don't take my word for it. Andy and Sue will tell you all about it when we come back. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Live channel.
Hi everyone, this is Brent Crowder. After 13 years with the Town Auto Group, I have returned home to Town Toyota where it all started. If you're in the market for a new or used vehicle, let me help you find the right one at the right price. Toyota is reliable and trustworthy, and you can count on me to be the same. When it comes to buying your next car, you can't go wrong with Toyota and Crowder. Ask for Brent at Town Toyota or call me now at 888-5000.
Some exciting changes are happening at Davis Furniture in downtown Wenatchee. We've decided to remodel our showrooms, but in order to accomplish our goal, over $2 million worth of top-quality home furnishings must be sold off immediately. Our entire inventory is deeply discounted up to 60% off to sell fast. If you've been thinking about new furniture, now is the time to buy. Don't miss the biggest sale in our 40-year history. Going on now at Davis Furniture and Mattress in downtown Wenatchee.
Bring the whole family up to Stormy Mountain Brewing and local public house in historic downtown Chelan. Applewood smoked brisket, street-style tacos, and our award-winning barbecue rubs and sauces. Our meals pair perfectly with our exciting lineup of craft ales, made right here in Chelan. We've got room for big groups, or give us a call for catering. So grab the kids and check out the fun at Stormy Mountain Brewing and local public house located in the heart of Chelan.
Hey friends, this is the Discovery Center at Rocky Reach Dam, where things look exactly like they did in the 1960s. Say cheese!
Turns out the way people learn has changed a lot since then.
Gee, Pop, that lecture was swell.
It's about time to create some new and exciting ways to interact with the story of the PUD and our valley. We'll be closed next year while we make some magic happen. So stay tuned. We'll keep you posted on the journey.
This is Mike, Mad Dog McNally, and everybody's entitled to my opinion. Now, recently at a vacation house we were renting, my grandson, he broke a lamp. Well, it was an expensive lamp. I had to pay $100 to replace the doggone thing. I figured, well, no big deal, stuff happens. But then I realized the huge difference in reaction I would have had if my son Tony had broken the lamp. Had Tony been the culprit, I would have been angry and upset. A much different emotional reaction than I had when it was my grandson. But it's not that I love my grandson more than I do my son. They're both great human beings. And maybe I'm just older, and sometimes that just explains the varying emotional reactions I have to my grandkids opposed to those I felt with my kids. But whatever it is, grandkids are just different than your kids. Yeah, they are. This is Mike Mad Dog Magnati, and that's my opinion.
What's your Automocha emergency?
It's a Frappuccino mocha with whip.
The espresso shakes are my most favorite because I can get any flavor. Peanut butter chocolate for pita.
Definitely the espresso shakes.
My favorite is the mocha for pitas.
A peach Red Bull.
At Doghouse Motorsports, we ride what we sell. There's a lot we could say about the CD Spark and the CD GTI, but ultimately, the ride says it all.
Dear Mary Maids, please clean the kitchen, and the cabinets, and the floors, and the chairs. And I wish you could clean the dog. Colin is now feeding himself. Thanks, Megan.
Hi, Megan. No worries. We got it all cleaned up. Let's hope Colin gets past the spaghetti flinging stage soon. Till then, we've got you covered. See you next time. Mary Maids.
Welcome back to Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. I am Dan Kuntz. It seems like we've been talking about this big STEM summit for months because we have been talking about it for months, but it's finally here. It is Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at the Wenatchee Convention Center. It is the third annual STEM Summit. It's for teachers and anybody else who wants to learn more about science, technology, engineering, and math. And making her first ever appearance on this show, Dr. Sue Kane. You've been on this show so many times. How many times have you been on this show?
Well, you've got me a parking space.
Yeah.
We just,
she just has a key to get into the building now.
I came right in the wrong door this morning.
That happens all the time. Andy Boyd's on my far left. Andy's making his very first appearance on this television program. So before we go any further, Andy, everybody knows Dr. Kane, what she does with the Apple STEM Network and the good folks at the North Central Educational Services District.
Sure.
Introduce yourself, Andy, to our television family, please.
Yeah, hi, Andy Boyd. I'm a math science specialist and the regional math coordinator at North Central ESD. Support the 29 districts all across our region, up to Orrville, down to Warden. And this is my beginning of my fourth year at the ESD. So my background is in assessment in math and science. I'm a classroom teacher and have a PhD in assessment, so I enjoy that aspect as well. But great to be here, and thanks for having us on.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It's good to have you here. How did you fall into your gig? Did you have a calling to get into education, and it kind of just snowballed, or what?
You know what? I had an 8th grade science teacher that could do a weird thing with his arms and turn it inside out, and I said, like, kind of a double jointed thing, and I was like, that's awesome. And I liked him, and I liked the class, and I got into science, and then it snowballed into understanding the world around us, and enjoyed the math experience of how to explain the things with some numbers. Knew that going into high school, studied, and then went to college at WSU and got my credentials, and now I'm here. So I got into other parts to work with the state and talking about assessment and how instructional strategies, and as you know, education is a changing landscape, and through those changes come new standards, best practices, and that's kind of where we're at. It's like, how do we get kids engaged in discourse and talking about math and science? And so, probably our parents and people our age either had a good experience in math or didn't have a good experience in math, I might be talking about someone, but we're hoping that all kids have some equity to learn some math and science standards and just be a better community member and part of our society.
It's funny how teachers inspire you and you remember them. I mean, my formal education ended a little while ago. But the teachers that I had from elementary to junior high to high school, I remember the ones that inspired me. I remember them like yesterday.
Yeah.
And I think teachers know that. And it's funny how you can't fool kids because kids can tell the teachers that give a damn, can't they, Sue? They can tell the difference between the teachers who are phoning it in, when's my retirement kick in, when's my pension kick in, and the teachers who lean forward and inspire you and are actually interested in educating you. The kids know it, don't they?
They do.
Yeah. And remember that, teachers, and we need more teachers. The STEM Summit's finally here. It starts tomorrow, runs through Thursday. Dr. Sue Kane, in a nutshell, what are we talking about, the STEM Summit?
You were right. We've been planning for months, 102 sessions, national keynotes coming in. We've got a really incredible keynote speaker coming in on Wednesday. He's a neuroscientist, and he's going to talk a little bit about why our brain grabs on to that problem-based learning and STEM learning in a different way, in the way that you still remember 30 years later that thing that you did. And then Amy D'Amico is with the Smithsonian, and they have been doing all kinds of work to try to figure out how to make science engaging and reach all students with the empowerment that comes from understanding how the world works. So both of them are really great speakers. We have a lunch with legislators coming up on Thursday, and District 12 and District 13 legislators that have been in Olympia trying to work on graduation requirements, career-connected learning, computer science. They're going to be able to share with us some of the things that they're really proud of that were accomplished this last year, and some of the things they're looking forward to in the short session this coming year. And let's see, evening events, socials, networking opportunities.
Sure.
A couple hundred educators getting really fueled up, and we want to send them back with lots of fodder to get in those classrooms.
Good chance for educators to meet other educators that are in their same line of teaching but may not know each other.
Yeah. Our region's so large that it's a chance to bring everybody together and make those networking and those connection pieces on strategies and how you're doing things in your classroom. And again, Dr. Wesson, who's speaking on Tuesday in the morning, we've seen him a few times, and he's, I appreciate the invite for everyone to come out to listen, because it's really connecting of how your brain thinks. And I mean, like we could have gone 2 hours with Dr. Wesson the last time we saw him, and just incredible content and information. But the teachers we've gotten positive feedback. This is our third year of the STEM Summit, and it's growing. I think we're almost up to 300 teachers and educators and around our area, and as well as outside of our region. A lot of folks in our area are doing some great things with curriculum, and other people outside of our area or in the region are noticing that, and they want to learn about some of the different types of content and curriculum that's being offered in North Central ESD, and they want to adapt it out there in their school district. So it's exciting. Little pressure because a lot of the folks at the ESD and teachers coming off of summer are presenting this week.
Oh, wow.
And they are probably doing their final touches on some of their sessions and some of their presentations, myself included. But I'm excited about it, and just a great time to meet some teachers, and the impact that they have on the kids it's just fun to watch and listen to as we go through into kicking off 2019-20 school year.
Your keynote speaker talking about how the brain works and how the brain absorbs information and how it continues information. For kids and for teachers as well, everybody has a different way of learning things. Some people like, show me the gadget and I'll figure it out. Other people say, I'll read the instruction manual. Other people are good at writing things down. Other people are how does a teacher know the best way that kids are absorbing information? How do the kids know that this is my best way for me to learn things? Where does that line?
I think you should come to this keynote presenter is open to the public.
Okay.
So if there's informal educators or interested community members, come. He speaks quite well to creating learning environments and experiences that light up multiple regions in the brain, and so that you do kind of touch on maybe a strong area for all the students in your classroom, and how do you get that learning experience.
So this isn't just for teachers and educators. I mean, John Q. Public can get something out of this. All they got to do is walk in and fork over some bucks and sit in on something, right?
Yeah, that's new this year. We're opening these keynotes, these national keynotes, coming to Wenatchee. We wanted to make sure that that was open to some. We know that there are informal educators. There's an incredible homeschool community. There's faith-based educators that we want to make sure that those folks get an opportunity to learn from these speakers as well. So it is open, and there's information on the North Central Education Service District website to those links if you want to purchase tickets ahead of time.
I got it open right here.
Yep.
So.
Or you can show up the day of too.
Okay.
And some of the things that are you mentioned, how are things changing and kids learning. One of the research is coming out saying classroom discourse is so key for kids to connect with those ideas and the phenomenon that are happening around them. Maybe different than all of us going through their high school or middle school where we had I remember I was in rows and I was by myself and I felt isolated, and if I even wanted to turn and talk to somebody, I was reprimanded in my classroom. The change has over the last 20 years or so is getting kids into groups, putting heads together, talking about what their thoughts are. What are your initial ideas about this? And then let's build on it. And that's that connection of what I'm bringing to my classroom as a kid and a student, and having the teacher kind of let them go through their own experiences. And the hardest thing as a classroom teacher that I had was letting kids leave my 50-minute period chunk of time with the wrong idea or the incorrect thought, and then letting them go away and say, okay, tomorrow we'll come back to it. As a teacher, we want to make sure if Sue leaves my classroom with an incorrect thought, I have failed that day.
Yeah.
So just that mental shift of, no, soon we're going to work together, and over time we're going to get to that conclusion, instead of saying, okay, this is how you do it, Sue. You show me that you can do it the way I showed you, and do it 15 or 30 or 50 times, and I'll collect it and say, oh, you did it okay, good job, Sue. That's a change in the culture of a classroom now, and I think a lot of their sessions are really going to target that, and I think the keynotes are really going to address that too, of kids talking, working together, our brain starts stimulating and making connections on our own.
STEM, of course, is an acronym for science, technology, engineering, and math, and some school districts and areas have adopted the STEAM program. They add arts to that. Again, science, technology, engineering, and math, which is the future of education, is the future for jobs, for everything. It's the importance of STEM, and it cannot be underestimated, right?
Not at all. And I don't live in the Wenatchee Valley. I live over in Coulee City, where we have a lot of wheat farming and agriculture. We have an agricultural STEM day, and showing how that's connected with all the farming and all the agricultural components. That technology is huge in all the aspects. So how do we get kids engaged with the computer science piece of it, the mechanics, the engineering of what's happening in all aspects of our region. So it is kind of that future. Washington State and our region is right up front with the STEM idea, and you mentioned STEAM as well. And now we're just seeing everything grow out and expand throughout all the districts, which is fun to be a part of right now. And it's fun to be in education right now.
I had the president of CMI Orchards on the show a couple of weeks ago, and we talked about how technology molds together with agriculture, and he said they're now indispensable. The two of them. You don't normally would associate agriculture and technology or computers and anything like that. I said, no, they're. I can't believe we went so long without having it.
That's right.
But they use computers to inspect the cherries, and they have one computer that can inspect a cherry from 90 different angles to point out inconsistencies. It's
we
incredible.
are in the tech sector.
Yeah.
Whether it's the energies production that's in the valley, or the natural resource management, the fields are full of sensors. And the data and analytics piece of it is huge. The new research scientist that WSU brought in for the Tree Fruit Research Center, he's using data analytics to help growers know when to apply their pest control management applications and services. They compile all of the weather data and the different pest levels and all of these different inputs, and they can tell the growers this is the optimal time with this specific application, and it is now being used globally. He's changing the way they do agriculture from here in Wenatchee. we're in a tech sector.
Yeah, it's fun to be on the cutting edge, isn't it?
It
right
is.
on the very edge of what's going on. Teachers, you get 18 STEM clock hours, by the way. That's good. So, because you got to keep your continuing education credits up. My guess is every teacher in the entire North Central Educational Services District footprint that works at all in science, technology, engineering, or math have signed up for at least a few of these classes, right?
Yeah, I mean, again, we have, last time I checked was around 250.
Oh, no, we're closer to 300.
300
yeah,
and
yeah.
they go in and they target what sessions that they're interested in, and they go through and pick whatever they like. And, you know, there's some elementary focus, there's some secondary focus, there's some content focus, one that go K-12 or PK-16 even, and then there's the areas that I'm interested in. You know, like I'm interested in robotics. How do I bring that program back into my school district or my classroom? And so there's if I'm a paraprofessional in a district, how do I then learn the new strategies around educational instructional strategies that I can then be when I'm supporting a classroom teacher or I'm working with children that really engage them in this student discourse, or if I'm a librarian, how do I work with the kids? And there's sessions for everybody in the education field. And as an administrator, how do I adopt some of these strategies and then help support the teachers to implement them? So there's some administrative sessions as well at the STEM Summit. So I mean, we've evolved, and we've met some needs of teachers that have given us input and feedback, and we're trying to hopefully touch them, touch base with them and say, hey, was this what you wanted? And they say yes, or what could you think about in the future? So every year our STEM Summit is evolving through our planning, and it's it's a great deal here in Wenatchee.
My guess is you're going to start planning the 4th annual STEM Summit almost as soon as this one's over, while all that information is fresh in your head.
That's pretty much how it went this year.
Yeah,
it is. And then the other piece of it is if you're interested as a teacher, how can then North Central ESD come out to your building and school district to continue that concept or support you in the classroom? And that's what we saw a lot last year, where we modeled something in a session. Ooh, I want to take that number talk and implement it now in my classroom. Can you come up and model or help us out or show us? So it's an ongoing cycle, and we start talking September, really. So
one of the coolest things I think about this conference is that the North Central Ed Service District has made arrangements with several of the school districts to support services throughout the year, as Andy was talking about. And if that is in place, they can send as many teachers to the summit at no additional cost. So a lot of the teachers that are out there, a lot of our educators, I keep saying teachers, but the para-educators, the staff, if they are in one of those districts, they can attend this summit right here in Wenatchee at no cost.
And free is a really good price.
It is great.
It's a great price.
Yeah.
We are almost out of time. No sponsors, no STEM Summit. Specifically, you probably want to thank a couple of the sponsors, Sue, for making it happen. Go ahead.
We do. We got a really generous contribution from Microsoft and from Clear Risk Solutions. We have a number of others. Carolina as a keynote sponsor, the Pacific Science Center, the STEM Network.
Simplot is on here. Guada,
STGL,
of course.
Carbon Fiber, Guada is coming. We have
Yeah.
actually a whole manufacturing community panel coming on Thursday, and all of those folks are investing as well. So we have a full list of sponsors, because I'm forgetting a lot of them.
Don't worry about it. It's right here on the website.
Yeah, check out the website, and we'll make sure that we acknowledge all of those folks.
So for those procrastinators out there, and you know who you are, it starts tomorrow. So what do the teachers who are going, I forgot, what do they do now?
You need to just come in. We'll take a rolling registration. You can check out the website. You can see the sessions, that sort of thing, so you kind of have an idea of where and who and what, and then just come on in and we'll get you registered on site, and we'll continue rolling registration through the summit. So.
Are some of these things like what some of Andy's symposiums and things, some of these have a limited space? I mean, for enrollment?
We're down at the convention center,
Right.
so we're kind of fixed to the room size. So, 30 is the traditional size limit for most of the rooms. There are some bigger rooms where we're up to 100. I have a session of 60 right now that's coming up, which is exciting.
Yeah.
But then how do you manage that space? And again, if I'm a teacher, I might find something on Tuesday, and I can come Tuesday and I can come Thursday. I'm not committed to the whole STEM summit if I have a conflict or an appointment or something. But yeah, I'm focusing on math this year, and we have some colleagues that are doing some science, and we have some some instructional materials where teachers are getting trained on the kits that are going out to the classroom. So it's exciting. And again, thank you to all those sponsors that are really helping us put this on. Absolutely. And we've gotten great feedback. And there's folks from, like I said, Orville over to Elmira, up to Leavenworth, down to Moses Lake and Warden, that are all coming here for tomorrow or probably this evening, and getting ready for this great event.
I'm looking forward to it. Again, it is tomorrow, Wednesday and Thursday. All the information we're talking about, just go to the North Century Educational Services District website. That's all. I just Googled NCESD and everything popped right up, and you got it all. So one last question for you, Andy. When you were giving your presentation, and there were a couple of teachers in the room who start talking out of turn, you yell at them, you discipline them?
No, I'm concerned what their thoughts are and their comments. So I said, is there something we need to share? But I ask, hey, how did you enjoy your meal too? That dinner or those things? So no, we try to have an open adult conversation, and they're all very professional. So again, if you need, maybe come and watch some of the math sessions and see some of the strategies that are in place now, so some kids in our districts and our regions can have
Andy
a better.
Keeps bringing up math because I just stunk in math. My bad. I was not engaged in math. Dr. Kane, so it was good to see you. Andy, thanks for doing the program. Let us know how it goes, please.
Come check it out.
And we'll see you probably, since we do a thing with the North Century Educational Services District once a month. I'll probably see you right around the beginning of the school year, or somebody anay, as we ramp up for another school year. Man, this year.
Back to school, here it comes.
Yeah, I'm telling you. It's good to see everybody.
Yes.
You watch Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We'll be right back.
If you are looking for dependable car service and repair, visit the good guys at Quick Lube and Tune. They've been keeping cars and trucks in the Wenatchee Valley running smooth for 35 years. Quick Lube and Tune is your hometown shop for a 10-minute oil change, complete tune-ups, alignments, brakes, mufflers, air conditioning service, and more. Get more life out of your vehicle by bringing it to the local guys you can trust at Quick Lube and Tune on South Wenatchee Avenue. If you love tennis, you need to experience Central Washington's best-kept secret, Harmony Meadows. Harmony Meadows is a world-class destination tennis and event center nestled between the Cascades and Orchardland in the beautiful Chelan Valley. The 8 outdoor tennis courts feature Lake Hole Masters 8, a cushioned surface used at the Miami Open. There's also 2 outdoor pickleball courts. With the stunning backdrops, Harmony Meadows is your ace destination. Call or see them on the web. Harmony Meadows.
Hi, I'm Kevin Prosser, and this is my print shop, Color Effects in Cashmere. Color Effects offers screen printing, embroidery, and digital printing on t-shirts, jerseys, bags, banners, signs, and more. With 30 years experience, you won't be disappointed with the quality and quick turnaround times you will get at more than a fair price. Please call Color FX.
Just about a minute to go on this Monday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Let's take one more look at that weather forecast. From the National Weather Service, get ready to look at lots of yellow, bright, round things. That represents, by the way, graphically speaking, the sun. And we're going to have a lot of that all week long. Very dry, nice and warm, pretty benign. Nothing like we had last week when we had hot weather. And then, of course, we had the thunderstorms and the rain on Friday and Saturday. If you're just joining us, Friday, 0.22 inches of rain broke the old record of 0.07, so it wasn't much of a record to break, but we did it anyway. That was on Friday. Saturday, you think we would have broken a record, but we didn't. We came awfully close. The record for rainfall on Saturday, the 10th, was 0.29, and we got 0.28 inches of rain on Saturday. So we just missed a record as measured up at Paintball Memorial Airport. But there you go. Temperatures just slightly below normal. Lots of sunshine. Overnight lows right above normal. A weak little weather system expected on Thursday and Friday. Outside of that, no complaints at all for the middle of August. We can live with that. All right. Everybody have a great Monday, provided this show isn't canceled. I'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.